A caracara tilted its head and came to the window, waving its claws as if trying to get someone's attention. A young man noticed this strange little fellow and curiously walked to the window to take a look. But just as he got close, the caracara flew away. The next day, the same caracara appeared again at the window, tilting its head and gazing blankly inside the house. Its eyes were full of longing and hope, as if asking the young man for help. However, the young man didn't understand what it meant. Unexpectedly, the caracara suddenly looked up and let out a loud laugh, followed by sorrowful cries. The young man was immediately drawn to its behavior. Seeing the anxious and restless caracara, he carefully opened the window. A wave of hot air rushed in. At that moment, the young man understood the bird's strange actions. He went inside and brought out a bowl of ice water, placing it on the windowsill. The very next second, the caracara eagerly drank the precious cold water. The young man now understood the bird's struggle. The scorching summer heat made it nearly impossible to find any cool relief in the city. That bowl of ice water was its most urgent salvation. After the bird drank its fill, the young man kindly handed it a piece of meat. To his surprise, the caracara didn't hesitate and immediately grabbed the meat to eat. The little guy was also very polite. It stayed outside the window and didn't dare come in, afraid its sharp claws and teeth might cause trouble for the young man. The man grew fond of this clever and well-mannered caracara. Whenever it came to the window, he would prepare food and water for it. The caracara seemed to enjoy this treatment and began appearing at the window daily. The man would always have food and cold water ready for him. The house cat became very curious about this new visitor and observed the caracara at the window. At first, the caracara was very wary of the cat, often baring its claws and trying to scare it off. But the cat didn't seem to mind. Over time, the bird's hostility faded, and the cat began to interact with it. Their relationship gradually grew closer. The man welcomed the caracara warmly and even began looking forward to its visits. He would always prepare food and water, and the caracara became used to this lifestyle, regularly coming back to enjoy the man's care. One day, as usual, the man prepared food. But this time, the caracara brought its mate along. It peeked inside to see the man's reaction. The man responded by handing over another piece of meat, silently accepting the presence of its partner. From then on, the caracara couple often appeared at the window together, grooming each other and showing affection. They seemed to consider the windowsill their home, resting there peacefully. The caracara even introduced its mate to the house cat. They curiously observed each other through the glass. The caracara politely responded, and a quiet friendship formed among the three. The windowsill became a shared sanctuary for them all. Seeing the affectionate caracaras and their growing trust warmed the man's heart. He always prepared fresh food for them. He even shared their story on social media, which received many likes and comments, bringing him unexpected recognition. The man grew very fond of the intelligent caracaras. When he once offered them vegetarian snacks, the bird shook its head in rejection. Thinking it didn't like grapes, he then offered apple slices, but those were also refused. The two little birds stood at the window chattering away, seemingly discussing something. The next day, to his surprise, the birds brought him a chicken leg as a gift. Even more surprisingly, they later delivered a headless pigeon. Perhaps in their eyes, they thought the man might be struggling too and needed help, so they shared their prey with him. The caracaras gently pushed the game through the gap in the window, always hovering just outside the glass. The fresh meat that the man gave back in return rose in steam under the evening light, like an olive branch extended toward wild nature. With fresh spring water and kindness, the young man unlocked the code of wild instinct. That small windowsill became a sacred altar of trust between two very different worlds.